Hello everyone, I'm Wendelin Buro and I will be going to discuss the learning tourist. So anyone of you have an idea what is a learning tourist? Okay, thank you. So learning theories is set of conjectures and hypotheses that explain the process of learning or how learning takes place. So now, you will be going to know the different theories and sino nga ang nasa likod ng mga theories na ito. So let's find out. So there are three basic approaches of learning theories. First is behaviorist, second is cognitivist, third is constructivist. So later on, I will be going to discuss each of these basic approaches of learning theories. And may makikilala din tayong mga theories. No, yon. Next, so si Jean Piaget, one of the famous learning theory, the cognitive development theory. So, he suggests that children more through four different stages of intellectual development. So, we all know that Jean Piaget is a famous learning theory, di ba? Most of us know um, Jean Piaget. So this theory explains that children takes an active role in the learning process. So as learners interact with the world around them, they continually add new knowledge, build upon existing knowledge, and adapt previously held ideas to accumulate new information. So Jean Piaget is very famous on cognitive development. Next is behaviorism, the first basic approach. Behaviorism or associative theory approach. So, si John B. Watson, the father of behaviorism. So, John B. Watson states that behaviors can be measured, trained, changed. So, all behaviors are acquired through conditioning. So, according to John B. Watson, behaviorism depicts observable and measurable aspects of human behavior. All behaviors are directed by stimuli, and it believes that behaviors can be measured, trained, and changed, as what I said a while ago. Next is the types of conditioning, classical and operant conditioning by Ivan Pavlov. Next slide is the first is the classical conditioning. As an individual learns when a previously neutral stimulus is repeatedly paired with an unconditioned stimulus until neutral stimulus evokes a desired response. So this is the first classical conditioning of Ivan Pavlov. So, classical conditioning is an individual learns when a previously neutral stimulus is repeatedly paired when unconscious stimulus until neutral stimulus evokes a desired response. So, it is a type of learning that happens unconsciously. So, there are features of classical conditioning. First is unconditioned stimulus. This is automatically produce an emotional or psychological response. So, second is unconditioned response, a natural occurring emotional response. So, next is neutral stimuli. It is stimuli that do not elicit a response. Next is conditioned stimuli. Evokes an emotional and psychological response after being conditioned. Last features of classical conditioning is conditioned response. Is a learner learned response from a previously neutral condition. So those are the features of classical conditioning by Ivan Pavlov. Next is operant conditioning. Next is operant conditioning. Burhus Frederick Skinner's. This type of conditioning stresses the use. Next is operant conditioning. Burhus Frederick Skinner's. This type of conditioning stresses the use of pleasant and unpleasant consequences to control the occurrence of behavior. Next slide is what's what is reinforcer and reinforcement? Do you have any idea what are the difference between these two words, the reinforcer and reinforcement? So if none, we let's proceed for us to know what would be the what is reinforcer and what is reinforcement. So there are types of reinforcer. First is primary reinforcer, second is second reinforcer, third is positive reinforcer, last is negative reinforcer. Okay, so when we say primary reinforcer, it is a stimulus that is related to both biological and psychological needs such as food, clothing, shelter, warmth, and human touch. So those are primary reinforcers. So second is second reinforcer. A stimulus that reinforces a behavior after being previously associated with a primary reinforces. So this includes grades in schools, money, tokens, and etc. So those are the second reinforcer. Third is the positive reinforcers. A stimulus is added to a situation or event to strengthen a behavior. So, for example, increasing the hours of watching movies because the learner achieved a perfect score in an examination. So, kani siya diri sa positive reinforcer kanang um, a situation or event to strengthen a behavior of a person. So, next is a negative reinforcer. A stimulus is withdrawal to a situation or event to strengthen a behavior. For example, taking away a learner's favorite toy when the learner misbehaves. So that is the negative reinforcer. So let's proceed the types of let's proceed the schedule of reinforcement. First is the fixed ratio FR. This reinforcement is dispensed following a constant number of desired behaviors. So for example of fixed ratio. The learner is given praise or reward for every correct answer or desirable behavior displayed. So this fixed ratio is about rewarding or a prize to students, just like a students got the highest score. So possible her parents give him a reward of having a correct answer. So that is a fixed ratio. So next is fixed interval reinforcement. This reinforcement is dispensed following a constant amount of desired time. So for example, the talkative learner will be given praise or reward only if he or she will remain quiet for 10 minutes. Following the token, no additional reinforcements will be given until another 10 minutes pass. So this fixed interval is about um, giving a reward or praise to students if he or she kanang remain quiet, di ba? So next is variable ratio. This reinforcement is depends following a varying amount of trials. So example, in joining a math competition, a learner will not know when he or she will win even after several trials of competing. So, of course, when we join a competition or any activities, we don't know that um, uh, we will madaog bata or dili. So, this variable ratio is about a varying amount of trials. Next is variable interval. This reinforcement is depends following a varying amount of for example, a learner who is fishing in a pond will have to wait for few minutes or hours before he or she can catch a fish time. So this variable interval is about dispense following a varying amount. So those are the four schedule of reinforcement. So both fixed ratio and fixed interval are predictable. So this means that learners will know when they will get or receive the rewards or praise. On the other hand, variable ratio and variable interval are both unpredictable. So this means that learners will not know when they will get or receive the reward or praise. So both of this schedule of reinforcement have different. These two fixed ratio and interval is predictable, while these two variable ratio and interval is unpredictable. They will they will, they will not know if they will get received reward or praise from others. So yun. Next is the types of reinforcement. So there are 6 types of reinforcement. First is verbal, physical, nonverbal, activity, token, and consumable. First is verbal. Learners excel more when they are given praise for performing well in the examination. So on the other hand, learners who did not perform well in the examination are encouraged to study harder and do better next time. So this is about praise and encouragement. This is verbal reinforcement. Second is physical. Learners feel proud when they when given a pat on the shoulder or hug for doing great in their activities or discussion. However, physical reinforcement must be used with caution because if the issues of sexual harassment is still human touch has been found to be an effective tool to increase the confidence of learners. So physical, this is about our outer sa atong labas sa ato ang lawas. So this is example of touch, hugs, kanang mga physicals. So yun. Next is non-verbal. Learners feel relaxed and comfortable when they are given smiles or warm looks during a discussion. So, 'di ba, when we are going to discuss in front of our classmates, ma-feel ta og kanang confident or comfortable ta nga mag-discuss without kanang kakulba, 'di ba? Kay because our listeners kay kuan, they are giving smiles or warm looks dili kay kanang tanaw sila because nag-judge. So this is non-verbal about smiles, warm looks na kanang ginapakita sa listeners. Next is activity. Learners enjoy the class discussion more if varied games or any related class activities are incorporated and them. So, in these types of reinforcement, when we have what we call activities, mas ma-enjoy sa mga students if we um, put or incorporate an activity para po ma-enjoy nila ang discussions, 'di ba? Dili sila ma-bored. So next is token. Learners appreciate their efforts when given corresponding points or tokens. So this usually happens when they are the teacher discussing or there are demo teaching happens. Um, this token is about um, giving points, yung iba pa nga is mga foods, 'di ba? Na binibigay sa students if after na nung discussion, binibigay yan ng mga teachers kasi for appreciating the learners sa ilahang efforts na gihatag, no? So next is consumable. Learners find it satisfying when giving consumable rewards like chocolates, candies, crackers by the teachers. So this is about kato akong giingon nga gaan ang mga estudyante og mga candies, chocolates, crackers, or any foods nga mahatag sa teachers para magpasalamat sa mga students na naghatag og ganang efforts and giving the on helping you on the discussion. Ang uban na mga points, stars, chocolates, and other rewards nga ilahang mahatag. So yun, mas mabuti kasi pag ang students nakaka-receive ng ganong token or consumable token, mas naano sila active. Mas na-active sila sa pag sagot sa mga questions mo. So mas maganda pag may token if you doing demo teaching or any discussion that you have. Pero dapat limit lang kasi baka masanay yung mga bata. Yun. So that's all for my discussion. I hope you gained knowledge from from my discussion. And so that's all. Thank you and God bless. Believe in yourself. Believe, believe, believe. So that's all. Thank you. Bye-bye.